Today, we hear from the family of a passenger who passed away on board MSC Virtuosa. Plus, the cruise line is making changes to their onboard COVID safety policies. We'll tell you what you need to know. A new Disney ship is back in service beginning today. Plus, big changes are coming tomorrow to your pre-cruise testing protocols. We'll tell you what you need to know if you're planning on boarding a ship in the next couple months. And are you a football fan? Because it's often very difficult to watch football while you're on board a cruise. But Midships will let you in on a couple secrets of how you may catch your favorite team in action. All this coming up on Midships. Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and today is Sunday, which means there's only 4 days left in our current giveaway to celebrate our September 30th cruise aboard MSC Divina. Now, the prizes for this giveaway are a 4-pack of towel bands and this passport holder that also doubles as your vaccine card holder. Very handy little thing to travel with. Now, if you'd like to enter to win both of these prizes, I will leave a link in the description below. And if you're on mobile, it will be up in this upper right-hand corner. Just follow the link and the video there will tell you how you can enter to win. A quick reminder that all of the cruise swag items we give away here on the Midships channel are available to purchase. There are Amazon affiliate links in the description below. You can get the towel bands or the passport holder in your own custom color even. So check it out down in the link below. Now let's get started with some cruise news. And we're going to start off with a big thing that's going to affect everyone cruising out of the US beginning tomorrow. We have an article from cruisely.com by Tanner Calise. Starting Monday, major cruise lines requiring negative tests within 2 days of sailing. As the Delta variant continues to lead a high case number on land, cruise lines and the CDC continue to strengthen protocols to keep cases off ships. As the Delta variant continues to lead to high case numbers on land, cruise lines, along with the CDC, are continuing to strengthen protocols to keep Delta cases off of cruise ships. Case in point, beginning on Monday, September 13th, both Royal Caribbean and Carnival, the two largest cruise lines in the U.S., will now require negative tests within 2 days of boarding. Previously, the cruise lines required negative tests within 3 days. Other lines, including Celebrity and Princess, are enacting similar policies. Some lines like Norwegian and Virgin Voyages already have universal testing at port on embarkation day, despite also requiring everyone on the ship to be fully vaccinated. And I can also tell you this testing requirement is going into effect for MSC Cruises as well, who I have just today confirmed is accepting the self-administered home tests if you buy them through that eMed website. And it's a proctored test via a telehealth visit with a medical professional. So that's a cool tip for your MSC cruise. Obviously, we're going to be digging really deep into MSC. I'll show you all the ins and outs of my total experience with the cruise line coming up later this month. There's a tropical storm that could become a hurricane that may threaten the port of Galveston. Let's talk about Nicholas now. From firstcoastnews.com, we have the predicted path here of Tropical Storm Nicholas. You can see that it is hopefully going to hit only as a tropical storm, but it's going to double graze here on Texas. So you can see here, it looks like it may graze down here on the southern tip of Texas, down near Boca Chica. That's where Elon Musk has set up shop with SpaceX. So hopefully everything is good on that. We'd love to see all the work they're doing down there. But as you can see, as the storm moves north, we have a chance for Galveston and the Houston area to be hit within the eye of Nicholas. So hopefully this kind of just becomes a nothing, just maybe a stronger storm. You can see it's predicted to enter the area on Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday. So hopefully that doesn't become an issue for turnaround day out of the port of Galveston coming up this next weekend. So just a quick update on Disney Cruise Lines from cruiseindustrynews.com. Disney Fantasy returns to service. The Disney Fantasy is now back in action, having sailed on Saturday from Port Canaveral and becoming the second Disney cruise ship to resume service in North America, following the Disney Dream, which returned to operations August 9th. So have you ever wanted to take a cruise around the entire world? Well, you're about to miss your opportunity to do just that. From BusinessInsider.com by Brittany Chang, a pair of parallel and identical 2023 around the world cruises are both nearly sold out. 2 weeks ago, Viking Cruise Line unveiled two back-to-back 2023 and 2024 world cruises aboard the Viking Sky and Viking Neptune. Now, 98% of the suites aboard both ships are fully booked. Viking has seen success with previous world cruises. The previous cruise, which was set to depart in 2021, was actually canceled due to the global pandemic. Viking Cruise Line considers the around-the-world itineraries as some of its most demanded cruises, a spokesperson told Business Insider. The cruise line's previous 2021 and 2022 world cruises sold out in record time within only a few weeks. So about 2 weeks ago, we told you about this Viking around-the-world cruises. We showed you the map of the itinerary, and we told you about the $55,000 per person starting price on the voyage. Is that something that you guys had considered? Maybe some of the Midships family have found their way on board these Viking cruise ships. Let us know in the comments below. While you're down there, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? And if you feel like you're getting some value out of this content, why don't you smash the thumbs up button? Literally hit it, every single person. It really helps us out in the algorithms. Recently, we've noticed a huge uptick in daily viewers and a giant leap in people hitting the thumbs up button. And I can tell you, it is because of you hitting the thumbs up button that we are getting pushed out to more and more people who love cruising. So thank you so much. Now let's hop into our big story of the day, and it is kind of a sad one. We're going to continue talking about this so-called super spreader event, or this COVID outbreak that's happened aboard MSC Virtuosa that left one family without their granddad. From liverpoolecho.co.uk. Granddad dies with COVID days after cruise holiday ends in Liverpool. Article written by Luke Traynor, a former Navy veteran who went on a week-long cruise on a ship where a number of passengers were hit by COVID, died with the virus after leaving the vessel. Wilf Broyden lost his battle with coronavirus last Sunday, and his family believes he could have caught the illness while aboard the 7-day cruise around the British Isles on MSC Virtuosa. Today, a spokesperson for the cruise line MSC told the Echo that they were devastated to learn of Mr. Broyden's death and said all members of his party had tested negative in line with their protocols upon boarding the cruise ship. The 81-year-old went on holiday with his wife Carol, 74, her son Gary, Gary's 8-year-old son, his girlfriend Sue, and her 2 daughters, aged 9 and 11. While aboard the Virtuosa, one of the world's largest cruise ships, signs started to emerge that COVID had broken out on board, with their children asked to go for tests, staff suddenly wearing hazmat suits, and some isolated incidents of people seen coughing and apparently struggling to breathe around the elevator areas. About 5 days into the cruise, Mr. and Mrs. Broyden began to feel unwell, and so spent the final portion of the trip confined in their cabin, although staff were not informed and therefore no tests were carried out. Mr. Broyden, who suffered with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, was classified as high risk, had been given the all clear by his general practitioner to go on the cruise after his blood levels were checked and found to be good. So we have a photo of Mr. Broyden and his wife on board the Virtuosa with their grandson, Gary. By the end of the trip, Mr. Broyden was feeling very weak, and his family said he had requested a wheelchair from the Virtuosa crew, and his mobility was badly affected. He left the ship in Liverpool on August 24th and was immediately transferred to hospital where he tested positive for COVID. Mr. Broyden from Wallasey was given pure oxygen, and his condition improved briefly before suddenly plummeting, and he tragically passed away 4 days ago. His wife was unable to go and visit him during his final hours, as she also tested positive for COVID not long after leaving Virtuosa, along with her 8-year-old grandson. Mr. Shelley said he also displayed symptoms and felt very unwell, but his test came back negative. Mr. Broyden's last words to his wife were on the phone from the ward in the hospital, where he heartbreakingly told her, "Carol, I'm dying. COVID has got a hold of me. I love you." This is a hard one to get through. I'm going to go ahead and read the rest of the article, but anytime you hear something like this, a family is suddenly cut off from a loved one, never to see or hear from them again while they're out enjoying what is supposed to be one of the happiest times of their life. It gets really tough to think about, and to put it into perspective with your own family or friends, it's really hard. But we'll finish this article and we'll move on to some other news. So the family also said they were unaware the symptoms experienced by Mr. and Mrs. Broyden were COVID related. Mr. Shelley, a dad of 3, told Echo, "It was our first cruise and we thought it might be a good time to get away." Wilf had been given the all clear by his doctor to go. When we got to Southampton, it seemed like another 2,000 people boarded and the ship was suddenly chocked full. There were lines for the elevators and people generally weren't wearing masks. I was, along with Sue and Wilf, but many weren't. We've all been double jabbed with the vaccine. We believed the ship to be a safe environment. Earlier this week, the Echo reported how a COVID-19 outbreak has spread on the MSC Virtuosa. So as with all stories, there are two sides to every story, and there is a follow-up from MSC that says that they are, of course, deeply saddened and distressed by the loss of someone. So, of course, there's two sides to every story, and of course, MSC should have their say in this. And so what their say is that, of course, this situation is deeply distressing for the family, but we truly wish they could have alerted us to any of their concerns regarding their own health whilst on board, so we could have activated further measures under our protocols to protect them. We would have provided tests and further prompt medical care and attention, as well as carefully managed disembarkation in cooperation with local health authorities, both for their protection as well as that of other guests and crew on board. In any case, we are again truly sorry to hear what happened and will remain in close contact with the family of the guests affected. So that is a lesson learned. If you are on board a cruise ship and you have any inklings of a symptom that you could have COVID, you should definitely do the right thing. Call down to guest services, let them know. Let them come up into your stateroom and test you out, because it's not just you who could have a problem. You could take this problem and give it to somebody who's at risk. You just don't have any way to know. So do the right thing. Make sure you're getting the test. Sure, it may cost you $100 to do that, but it's worth it to not have this kind of story hit the news again. So let's talk about some of the protocols now that MSC has implemented aboard Virtuosa in response to this incident. From TTG Media, MSC strengthens COVID protocols on board Virtuosa. The move comes ahead of the vessel's UK sailings in a bid to manage prevailing risks imposed by the virus. It includes additional testing of both vaccinated and unvaccinated guests and crew, which allowed the line to identify suspect COVID cases at the terminal during the pre-embarkation process and on board the ship. The line says all cases have been identified and effectively managed in line with these protocols and in cooperation with relevant health authorities. An MSC spokesperson said, "This is yet another example of our protocol doing exactly what it was designed to do. The MSC Cruises Health and Safety Protocol is designed to keep our guests, crew, and communities we serve safe, and its measures are sufficiently robust in the face of the current circumstances." And up until this recent sailing aboard Virtuosa, it's hard to argue with that statement. As you may or may not know, MSC has been sailing for over 1 year safely all around the world with their cruise ships. So it seems like their protocols may have just let one slip through the crack in this instance. We need to touch on a Carnival cruise ship in Jamaica that's having some issues at the dock. This will be a quick one. Trust me, we're getting to the football story here next. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten all of the football fans that watch Midship. So from the JamaicaGleaner.com, Carnival cruise ship to dock on lockdown Monday. Some people are fuming. Written by Carl Gilchrist. The Carnival Sunrise is set to dock in Ocho Rios tomorrow on what has been designated by the Jamaican port authorities as a no movement day on port. And what that means is you're not supposed to be coming in and out of port on that day. But somehow Carnival Sunrise seems to be allowed to do so, which is why some people are upset. So approximately 1,700 passengers are on board the Sunrise. However, arrangements have been made to open some attractions in port to accommodate the guests. So essentially, we're running into a situation where certain vendors, certain businesses on the island will benefit from this ship coming into port on a day when it's not supposed to, and the guests on board only being allowed in a small bubble area. So only the businesses and the vendors in that area receive the benefit from the Carnival guests that will be in port, while other vendors just outside the port area will not be able to make any money or see any of the proceeds from this visit. And so now they're concerned that they are sort of getting the short end of the stick. Plus, they're opening the community up to some additional spread of COVID. I would like to say that this ship is 95% fully vaccinated. Everybody has been tested pre-embarkation. So hopefully that is a limited concern. But it's just something that we need to keep an eye on. Jamaica is sort of becoming a port that may be harder and harder to get into. I know the CDC has put them recently on a no travel list, so we just need to keep watching out for this Ocho Rios port. Now, are you ready for some football? We're going to read an article from Cruisely.com about how you can watch your favorite sports team while you're out doing your favorite thing, and that would of course be cruising. So, Cruisely.com by Tanner Khalid. How to watch football on a cruise. NFL and college viewing options. Are you a football fan? Obviously, you aren't alone. Football is by far the most popular sport in North America, with tens of millions tuning in to college and NFL games each year. Of course, the popularity of this sport leads to some big questions being asked by cruisers. Can I watch the game on my cruise? Do cruise ships even offer ESPN or other popular stations? How can I watch my local team while on board the ship? So let's talk about Sunday night football here on NBC. These days, NBC's Sunday night game is the biggest of the week. It typically features a nationally important game with two of the best teams in the league. It's also the most watched game on each Sunday. If you would like to watch Sunday night football on your next cruise, have no fear. This major weekly game will be shown somewhere on board the ship. The question is where? For major games like Sunday Night Football, the playoffs, or the Super Bowl, the ship's bars will always have the game up. In fact, some cruise lines like Carnival with the Skybox Sports Bar and Royal Caribbean's Playmakers have dedicated sports-themed bars that make it a point to show these games. Most cruise lines also play the game on their outdoor screen in the pool area. Pull up a chair and relax and watch in waterfront comfort. You may or may not be able to watch the Sunday night football game in your cabin, though. Some cruise lines don't offer NBC on their channel listings, or they only offer it when the ship is able to receive the satellite signal. This means there's a good chance you won't be able to watch this in your room unless the signal is available at that time. Now let's talk about watching Monday Night Football. Since moving to ESPN, Monday Night Football has actually become easier to watch on board. Some major cruise lines even feed ESPN into your cabin, which is typically broadcast under ESPN International, which will show the Monday night game. However, the game may not always be broadcast in your stateroom. Of the major cruise lines, Royal Caribbean and Disney offer ESPN in their staterooms. Notably absent is Carnival and Norwegian Cruise Lines. At this time, those lines do not offer ESPN in staterooms. That said, we've yet to see a major cruise line without a feed of this game in their sports bars, and sometimes even out in their large pool area. So now we're going to get into some harder to watch games, and we're going to talk about Thursday night football. When it comes to Thursday night games, this is a little tough if you can watch or not on a cruise, as they will alternate stations between Fox and NFL Network. The short of it is, if it's on Fox, you may catch the broadcast on board the ship, but if it's broadcast on NFL Network, that's pretty much a no-go. You're not watching that game on board your cruise. So we can also touch on college football. It's going to follow a similar vein to what we just saw for pro football. So if it's on Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, ESPN, it's basically whatever the cruise ship is able to receive at the time of the game, and you're more likely to catch it in the sports bar than you are in your stateroom. Now, there's one way that you might be able to actually catch a game in your stateroom, and that is through your own provided streaming service. So whether you have Amazon Prime, who now streams football games, maybe you subscribe to a streaming cable service such as YouTube TV, depending on the cruise line and the internet package offering streaming services, you may be able to stream some of these networks in your stateroom. So that's how we football fans are able to get that weekend fix while we're out on the high seas. If you haven't already, don't forget to get entered for our weekly cruise swag giveaway. Thanks for stopping by today, and until next time, we'll see you on the Midships.